Pets are the best, and I should know because I have one. I'm personally a dog person ever since I got my childhood dog Coco, and because I'm scared of cats. When I was really little, my grandma would feed the stray cat that would come to her house every single day. She didn't officially name it, but it would appear every time my grandma screamed meow, so I just called it Meow. So Meow had this big scratch on its nose, probably from fighting other cats, and as a small child, I had the tendency to pet every fluffy animal I saw. So when I went to go pet the cat, it started hissing, and that's when the claws appeared. I think it would have clawed my face off if I didn't immediately flinch backward, and after that, I avoided every cat I saw. And if you were wondering, yes, it was an orange cat. But dogs, on the other hand, I love them. Every time I walked with my parents and saw a dog, it was like I was obligated to greet it, unless it was one of those really small ones that bark all the time. My neighbor had two of the tiniest dogs I've ever seen, and right before I would sleep, I would hear. Anyways, I really wanted a dog, but my parents didn't let me get one. Well, mostly my mom. Every time I asked my dad, "Can I get a dog?" he would respond with, "Ask your mom." Can I get No. But after constantly annoying her nearly every day, she finally agreed to at least look at the dogs. When we got to the place, the worker told us that all the puppies were gone, except for one. When they brought it in, it had this bandage wrapped around its tail, and the worker told us that one of the other puppies bit the tail so hard it bent the bone. I guess that's why nobody chose her, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It was like she had battle scars, and I could tell she could be the toughest companion ever. So I begged my mom over and over and made a bunch of promises that I didn't keep until she finally gave up and said yes. So we walked out of the building with a puppy, with no dog supplies or any preparation whatsoever. What do we do now? The worker did give us this temporary leash, but it was so weak and it would slip off really easily. So when we brought her home, she immediately got loose. And my neighbors had this gate, and the metal bars happened to be the perfect width for my dog to fit through and escape into their backyard. I probably gave her weeks worth of treats just to lure her back, which is probably why she kept doing it. But that was nothing compared to what happened inside. The moment we walked in, Coco already peed on the carpet and started chewing on everything. And this happened for weeks. Even though we bought so many dog toys, she found one that she preferred way more. The wooden chairs. There was this one time I came home from school and noticed that every corner of the dining room chairs had small teeth marks on it, and at first I just ignored it, but every day more and more slowly disappeared. Soon there was raw wood sticking out of the corners, and it kept scratching my legs whenever I sat down. So I had to sit with my legs super tight together when I ate to prevent getting splinters, and my dad ended up having to buy brand new chairs, and he also made a makeshift wooden barrier so my dog couldn't reach them. We also had this huge dog bed in the corner, and Coco would curl up like a croissant and sleep there for hours. Aw, she loves it. Never mind. So while we tried to fix it, we had to temporarily replace her chair with a cloth chair. Besides destroying everything, one upside I saw was how clean the floor was. It was like having a living vacuum cleaner in the house 24/7. But the only thing my dog wouldn't eat was plain dog food. Every time I filled her food bowl, she would sniff it and just stare at me. She would do this thing where she picked up some dog food and spat it on the ground and slowly eat a couple pieces at a time. It was pure guilt tripping. And it would work. My mom would cave in so fast and start mixing treats and chicken into her food, which would automatically get inhaled in 2 seconds. One time during my birthday, I had this vanilla cake, and my sister put her slice on the table and left the room, and when she got back, it was gone. And dogs always make it so obvious whenever they do something wrong. So we immediately knew who the culprit was. Okay, now I have to mention the time where I thought my dog ran away from home. It was a casual Saturday night, and I was on the couch watching videos. It was peaceful, a little too peaceful. We all called for her. I even started crumbling up a chip bag, but still nothing. And that's when I knew it was really serious, because the sound of food always summons her. My parents went to search for her in the dark, and I stayed home trying to open every door and cabinet I could find while bawling my eyes out. Until... What was that? And you know, it never crossed my mind of what might have actually been making the noise. Mom, Dad, come home. I hear weird noises. I hid behind my parents as they walked upstairs and followed the strange noise that led them into a small closet in the storage room. I've never felt so happy and relieved in my life to see my dog, and also because my house wasn't haunted. Having a pet run away is super scary, especially because I'm pretty sure my dog has zero survival skills in the wild. Recently, I actually found a dog wandering around the neighborhood without its owner. I was walking, and in the distance, there was this small pale blur running back and forth. Is that a pug? It had its collar on, but there was no name, phone number, or address on it. I went knocking on other people's doors asking if they knew anyone with a pug, but no luck. I guess it's just me and you then. After a couple of hours of trying to think about what to do with this random dog, someone knocked on my door and thankfully it was an owner. I have to admit, I was a little sad when they took it, but I'm glad it's reunited with its owner again. Having a dog, or any pet in general, is one of the best things you can experience. So it's always sad when you or someone else you know loses one. Or in my case, when I watch any movie with a dog, because the dog always dies. So if you have a pet, whether it's a dog, a cat, bird, rat, tarantula, or whatever, make sure you give it a big hug and make it feel appreciated. Because pets are hands down the nicest friends you can ever have. Unless it's a chihuahua.